Paper artists have lots of paper, both treasured and scraps. Here's a project where you can make collage pieces using that paper, especially the scrap pieces. Hi, I'm Daniela Mellen, an author and artist. I put up new videos each week. In today's video, we'll make simple collage butterflies to use in art journals or as collage fodder for future mixed media pieces. These butterflies are made with simple shapes and can be as small or as large as you'd like. We'll start with just scrap paper, adhesive of your choice, a pen or pencil just to make the shape, some embroidery floss, and a pair of scissors. So the first thing you want to do is go through your scraps and find a piece of paper for the main part of the butterfly, which is the wings. This is just a very rustic shape, and you can use any of the paper that you have. Here, I'll take this paper, I'll fold it in half, and you can make this any size you want. And I'm just going to make just a quick sketch, very rustic, of the butterfly wings. I can round that or keep it kind of haphazard, and then I cut it out. And this way the wings extend from the fold. So that's my basic shape. Now if I want to add layers to this, I'll just take another piece of paper like this here. And I like to trace over the initial image so that I know this size will fit upon this size. I cut it out, and now it'll fit just like this, but I want to make it smaller. So I'll just take it down a little bit in size. I like to have the different papers peeking through. So I have a much smaller one here, and it can be any size you want. And you could flip it over to see which size of the text in this case, or if the paper's double-sided, what side you want to use. So I can just set that down. I'll adhere my basic shape so that I have my wings all done. And now the fun begins. I get to embellish this piece. So I like to have the body, I like to keep that a dark color. So I'll just take some dark paper, roughly sketch out how I want the body to look, and then cut that out. From there I'll embellish further. I could put little spots, and these are just pattern paper that I cut out that happen to be a face, and so now I have eyes for my butterfly. And I could add additional elements as well. I could add stripes, or I could add other shapes. Before I do that, I like to take a little bit of this embroidery floss in black, and I like to make my antenna. This is just optional if you want to do an antenna. You can use wire, you can use paper, but I like just some light little embroidery floss because it kind of moves on its own. I'll just take my body and head, deposit some glue, and then I stick some very long antenna on the back of the head. From here, I'll attach it to my piece, and then once it's dry, I'll trim the antenna. I don't like to trim them when they're wet, but when they're dry, I'll trim that. And I'll just continue to add different elements to this butterfly to make it interesting. A lot of times I'll go through the stash of papers, and sometimes the color itself will motivate me. It'll give me some ideas to include a stripe or a marking on these butterflies. And so I just kind of go with it, being influenced by what I'm seeing in my papers. Now you can stop here, but I like to add a little shading with either marker that's waterproof so it won't smudge, or colored pencil here. I'll add some shading, some stripes, and some additional markings. And here's the result. Or you could start with your shapes and just cut up some different shapes and mix and match and play around with how it looks. You can take ones that are too large, trim them down, and add them to your butterfly, or make a much smaller butterfly. So I just go through the stash of the shapes I've already cut. I'll modify them slightly if I have to, but I find that a lot of them fit quite well. And then I'll just go and spend some time creating these collage butterflies. And it's really fun just to have some colors and some unusual shapes. I just take a hint from actual butterflies with the spots and the stripes. Once again, I'll come back and do my shading, usually just outlining the existing elements, whether it's the spots or the stripes on the butterfly. And here's the result of my butterflies outside. Now that I've made a few, I'm hooked, and I'll be making more to add to my collage stash for future projects. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.